Our Green Bay Packers are back in the playoffs where we belong. What will happen next, I'm not sure, but we're going to have a lot of fun talking about it with you next on your Packers Fan Podcast.
Hey Packers fans, guess what? You've got at least one more week of Wayne and myself on the podcast. Here's to hoping that the Pack will pull through again, if nothing else, so you can hear my co-host's sweet, dulcet, yet optimistic tones. I'm Scott Clark with the Gaming Outsider Podcast, and I'm ecstatic that this won't be the last time you hear from us this season.
Yeah, buddy. And me, podcasting since 2005, I'm Wayne Henderson, and I admit that I got misty-eyed as soon as we knew we were going to win that game, and I'm looking forward to that beautiful feeling again next weekend. It's episode 293 of the Packers Fan Podcast. How about that win over the Bears? Going to talk about that with you. And listeners, thank you for coming through with more fabulous feedback. Looking forward to sharing that just a little bit later on the show.
We're also excited that we get to preview a Packers playoff game. Yes, a Packers playoff game, Packers at Dallas. I've got my keys to a Packers victory over the Cowboys, so look forward to that. But let's kick things off right away with the highlights from the Packers victory over the Bears. Here were the leaders in the game. First off, Jordan Love, 27 for 32 for 316 yards, 2 TDs, and no interceptions, but 1 fumble. Rushing, Aaron Jones, 22 rushes for 111 yards. That was insane. He was just churning up the field. Receiving, the top receiver, according to the stats, was Jaden Reed with 4 receptions for 112 yards. However, got to give a nod to Dontavion Wicks, who had only 5 receptions, but 61 yards and 2 touchdown passes, so that was huge. And on the defensive side of the ball, Quay Walker, 9 tackles, 6 of them being solo, and 1 sack of many, but we'll get to that soon. Also, I got to talk just some really quick facts. I know they talked about this all over the broadcast, but the Packers are officially the youngest team in the history of the NFL to make the playoffs, at least since they started recording those kinds of stats in 1978. So who knows? I feel like that would be a really tough one to break. So I feel confident in saying that they're the youngest. They also, I learned this stat. They made the entire season, now that the season is over, 2023 season, 2023-2024 season, with no turnovers in the first quarter. There was never a turnover in the first quarter of the entire season. I thought that was a pretty cool fact. And also, the Packers tied the rivalry streak with a 10th victory in a row over the Chicago Bears. So that means if they get one more win, they'll have the record for the longest streak against one team in the history of the NFL, or at least current. That's the current record. I don't know what the longest streak ever is, but some fun facts, man, leading into a playoff weekend, I thought was pretty cool.
It's very cool indeed. And it's interesting that we had no turnovers at all in the first quarter all season, but also in the first half of the season, we weren't scoring points in the first half, or touchdowns anyway. What a weird season. Every season has its own personality. This one had all sorts of personalities. The game itself, fantastic. You know, I wish it would have been a big blowout, but a win is a win is a win. That opening defensive drive, the secondary, a little shaky first off. Maybe Fields is really that good. Hard to tell because sacked by Van Ness on first down for a loss of 6. And that was the first of 2 sacks in the first quarter, which is great to see because the defense, much maligned until about a week ago, we all of a sudden started playing better defense, and I'll take it. On that same series, huge stop on third down, forcing a field goal try. Unfortunately, that field goal try by the Bears was good. Even though he doinked it, it bounced in. How often does a doink and go in?
I know, right? And how loud was that, by the way?
Very.
There was a couple that hit this weekend against the pole, and I was like, is it that loud? I don't know if I've ever been to a game where it hits the post, but on TV, that just sounded insanely loud. Is it because it's that cold? I don't know, but it was like, dong.
They have a little hidden microphone right inside the pipe. It's crazy. The Bears were leading 3-0, but not worried. At 7-0, you might get a little nervous, but 3-0, not worried at all. And listener David Newman mentioned how we could have had a 3-and-out, but allowed a long conversion thanks to Joe Barry's soft zone defense.
Yeah. It's just, I feel like that's just the name of the second half of the season. But anyway, I talked about a couple sacks in the first quarter, but we had 5 total sacks on Justin Fields, which was such a huge deal in this game. The first one came in the first quarter, second one on the very first play of the second quarter. Already mentioned the one by Van Ness on the opening drive. Second was by Devontae Wyatt. Kenny Clark had another one inside the 2-minute warning of the first half on third down, forcing a field goal. And then we had Brooks and Quay Walker also had ones as well. I just love seeing Fields planted on that turf. It was really great to see.
Especially that many times. It was decisive. And the Packers answered with their second offensive drive of the game, 32-yard pass to Reed right down the middle of the field. And Bo Melton, still coming out of nowhere, he saved that drive with an insane catch in the middle of the field on third down. And, of course, you mentioned earlier, Aaron Jones, he was lighting it up on the running side of the ball, capped off by that beautifully threaded pass to Wicks for 6 points. Love was looking to his right, threw off balance, but the pass was perfect. And Dontavian Wicks also had one heck of a Lambeau leap after that touchdown, giving us the 7-3 lead, and I knew it was on at that point.
I was really surprised none of the commentators said this, but that throw felt very Mahomes-esque in terms of the way that he had positioned his body, kind of like off on the one foot on the wrong side and threading it in between there. Plus, like he kind of looked to the right, but Wicks was coming from the left, like he was, the defense was following his eyes, not following. You know what I'm saying? It was a thing of beauty, and it really did feel like a Mahomes throw to me, and I say that in all the right reasons.
Is that because it was kind of reminiscent of how a shortstop would throw the ball? Maybe?
Sure. Yeah, there you go.
I don't know.
And in the third quarter, we had another touchdown pass to Wicks. This was Jordan Love's 32nd touchdown pass of the season. This means that Love has the second highest number of TD passes this season behind Dak Prescott. That is an impressive stat for a guy that he's not a rookie, but this is the first season that it has been just him, right? This has been his offense this entire season, and he's number 2 in touchdown passes.
And I just wanted to mention the fact that unlike when Aaron Rodgers took over, there wasn't Jordy Nelson and Greg Jennings and all these star receivers, and the guy we thought was going to be our number 1 all season has been injured a lot. So all these different young guys and a first-year starter just being right behind Dak Prescott. And wait a minute, who do we play next weekend in the Dak Prescott?
That stat is going to be up on that board, although Dak had 4 touchdown passes or whatever this past weekend against the Commanders.
Commanders.
But sure, we played the Bears, man. But yeah, the PAT was good on this one. The Packers were able to keep their lead, but that was I just love seeing Wicks getting those catches. He's definitely making a name for himself. Not to mention Melton. The ball was all over the place. That has been such a great MO for the Packers in terms of spreading the ball to so many different receivers, which you kind of have to do with an offense that is this young, right? We don't really have a stud. It feels like we have a stud every week. For a while it was Christian Watson, and then it was Dobbs, and now it's Wicks, but this week it was Melton. It's all over the place, and I love it because that keeps the defense confused, and that's what we need.
I'll take that for sure. The fourth quarter madness, Scott. I'm not even sure if this is a low light or a highlight. I'll just put it in the highlights because Reed had a huge catch early in the series, putting the Packers in the end zone, or in the red zone, I'm sorry, and it led to a touchdown catch by Melton that was very controversial because they initially ruled it not a catch. Then they, I believe, went to a commercial break to review it, changed it to a catch, reviewed in the booth, called not a catch. I've never seen one flip-flop so much. It's like, make a decision. We're frustrated enough with the officiating, but then to go back and forth that many times. We had to settle for a field goal, but it did extend our lead to 14-6. And so we're padding the score a little bit.
I'm going to tell you, Wayne, I 100% disagree with that call. Number one, what do the rules say about one butt cheek?
Yeah.
Being down. I don't even think that was the real issue. I think the issue was that they're saying he didn't have control, even though he was pressing it against his leg. To me, even if that would have been the Bears scoring that one, I would have called that a touchdown. I understand it was close, but that to me was a touchdown. Didn't wind up mattering. We got the 3 and we won the game in the end. But I did not like that call. But I'm also not a ref, so. On another positive side, we only had one penalty the entire game, I believe. I know the first one didn't come until the third quarter. That one they did was a pretty significant one. Offsides on 4th and 5 to give Chicago a first down. They pulled a Rodgers on us. That was brutal. But I actually had a comment from David Newman that I wanted to mention. I should have mentioned it earlier on Reed's big catch. He said you got to give Heath some credit. He wanted to help his teammate out and block, but if he did, would have either got illegal block in the back or illegal crackback block. Good discipline by him, something I think earlier in the year nobody on the team has the discipline to do it. That is a huge point for how much this offense has grown, because that's something that we were getting penalized left and right. Just these rookie mistakes, these young player mistakes. And it just shows how much this team is progressing forward and fixing those mistakes, at least on the offensive side of the ball. So, thanks, David. I'm going to reference him quite a bit because the man knows his football. But, the penalties. Only didn't have one till the third quarter. How great is that?
However, on the Bears, as well as maybe once or twice with the Packers as well, there should have been at least 7 other flags thrown before that point. The refs were just... I understand letting people play, but I think the refs were just like, duh, what's going on? And then in the fourth quarter, there were flags and there was this and there was that and things getting chippy. And I would have liked to have seen exactly the background behind some of that. But, oh, well, the final offensive drive of the game started on our own 5-yard line. 95 yards to go. Slowly chipped away at the yards. That huge third down conversion to Kraft to keep the drive alive, I like to call it the dagger. And Aaron Jones runs for a first down on the very next play for what many people call the dagger, but there were lots of daggers on that drive. And Love was able to kneel it down to end the game with a 17-9 victory. I will take it. Hello, Dallas.
Absolutely. It was a very nerve-wracking series, for sure, for obvious reasons. It felt very heart attack packed, but it wasn't because of anything they were doing wrong. I did not expect them to go down and then be able to run the clock down. They had 4 minutes, and they spent all 4 of those minutes getting down into a position where they needed that first down to be able to kneel on it. I expected them to get down to, the 40 and maybe punt it inside the 10 or something like that. But no, they were able to just seal the deal and make that happen, and kudos to them. That was a really impressive way to finish off the game.
Indeed. Now, a few lowlights as far as the game goes. The opening offensive drive, it didn't look like we were quite ready. I mean, we came close to a 3-and-out, but a big third down pass to Jones kept the drive alive because he's as good at receiving as he is rushing. And especially nerve-wracking because Love almost got sacked, drove down the field, almost got the touchdown, but Dobbs supposedly didn't complete the process. I mean, why wasn't it a TD? Wasn't there a catch by the Bears in the game that was almost exactly the same later on, and they ruled it good? And so the inconsistency of the officiating crew was ridiculous. Forced to give us field goal attempts, but Anders Carlson missed that one we talked about. It wasn't even close. It was just one of those things. I'm getting a little nervous about Anders.
I think Anders is getting a little bit nervous about Anders.
Oh,
because
good point.
He better be, because man, that's ridiculous. We also had a missed opportunity during the first half's 2-minute warning. Green Bay was driving with a great hurry-up offense, which was really cool to see. I was like, they're just on pace. They're managing the clock well. Got within field goal range. Tried to get a little bit closer. I think it was something like 11 seconds left. Receiver was marked down inside the field, so the clock kept running. And it was the right call. But that was so brutal. All he had to do was just make a little forward momentum and get knocked out of bounds, and it would have stopped the clock and allowed them to get those 3 points. It would have been great to end that half, with those extra 3 points. And if you think about it, that's 6 points we missed in the first half, but thankfully it did not wind up biting us in the butt. I think that's Carlson's only saving grace right now is he has not lost us a game, right? The defense has lost us a lot of games. Anders Carlson has missed so many kicks, but we've not lost the game because of it.
Good point.
My recollection. So
he may even bring up that good point as well. But
exactly. He's going to be in.
Those mental errors near the end of the first half just about caused LaFleur's head to explode, and mine as well.
Yes.
But I'm not coaching on the field.
He's definitely getting more feisty as he's been with the Packers. So I also mentioned it when we were talking about Love's stats, but he did have that fumble. There seemed to be some miscommunication between Love and the receivers, which forced him to roll out to the right. And instead of doing what you should do and slide or go out of bounds, he tried to run through the defense, which I got a little butt pucker going on when I saw him do that. I'm like, dude, we are too close to the playoffs right now for you to be blasted through that defense. Thankfully, the defense kept them to a field goal, and the Packers, the ball was knocked loose, and Chicago recovered. So the Packers were still able to keep that lead at 14-6 at that point. I was really worried that was going to blow the wind out of Green Bay sails at that point, but they did keep it up, and I really appreciated the resilience of the team from that point on.
That whole fumble play was just crazy because there's no way you're going to know that guy's helmet is going to be in that spot at that time because it looked totally accidental. The only part that was on purpose was the fact that the Chicago Bears recovered it, but I don't think they should take credit for causing it. It was just a comedy of errors.
Incidental.
Yeah. But we'll take the ball.
Yeah.
The one other low light that came to my mind was this is not a good time to have new injuries. Now, thankfully, there weren't a lot of them, but Romeo Doubs potentially has some sort of chest injury, praying that it's not serious for Romeo. He's this afternoon they said he's day to day.
That does not sound good.
Well, it makes me thankful that we're playing on Sunday instead of Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. Get not extra day, but we get the correct amount of days in between.
Thank you.
In between games. Yeah. Obviously, I'm more concerned about the health of the player than I am for the repercussions of the game. Wish him a speedy recovery. But on the bright side, as I already mentioned, Love has so many weapons back there. It was great to see Musgrave back on the field again. He wasn't explosive or anything, but it was good to see him on the field. And he's just got so many targets. So. Even if he is down, I don't consider that to be a massive loss for the offense, not because I don't think Doubs is a great player. He is a great player, but there are so many great younger players on this team that I think Love is building a lot of trust between or amongst a slew of players. He's not pulling a Rodgers and focusing on this one guy, and if he's double covered, then okay, I'll try to throw to somebody else. Plays are designed for different plays, and that misdirection is great.
And with having that many options, you really can't double team anybody.
Yeah, exactly.
So that works out. Now it's time for our weekly poll question, as long as the season goes on. We posted it in our Facebook group at PackersCommunity.com, as well as on X Twitter at Packers Fan Pod. I'm just checking the pulse of your feelings. Packers fans, how are you feeling about us going into the playoffs? Just making it to the playoffs is huge, or we need to win at least one playoff game? Or is it Super Bowl or bust?
Boy, this is such a hard question to answer, man, because I don't think at the halfway point of the season we expected to be in the playoffs. So for me, getting to the playoffs is a win. They have surpassed I can't say they surpassed my expectations, because if you remember when we did our predictions at the end of last season, I think I predicted 12 wins. We're at 9. So, I missed the mark by quite a bit. But I think, again, looking back halfway into the season, if we would say we were going to finish with 9 wins, I don't think any of us except for you would have said that was going to happen. So I'm saying just making it to the playoffs is a win. So even if they do lose this game, I really hope they don't. I am still more than happy with this team, except for a certain defensive coordinator. But so yeah, I say getting the playoffs is good enough for me.
And I'm going to actually go with, I really want us to win at least one playoff game. However, if we don't, I am, quote unquote, level-headed enough to realize that everything that happened this season when so many people said, oh, we're rebuilding and we'll be lucky to win 5 games and this and that. So, it's kind of a toss-up. Believe it or not, we got over 100 votes this week when you combine Twitter, X, and Facebook. 86%, overwhelmingly with you, Scott. Just making it to the playoffs is huge. 8% said we need to win at least one playoff game, and 6% Super Bowl or bust, baby.
It is interesting that we're going up against Dallas, because of the rivalry there. I feel like the Cowboys were especially in the 90s, were, even though they weren't in our division, they kind of felt like they were for some reason, at least in the 90s. I don't know. Maybe it's just the Troy Aikman coming back to me a little bit, but, and then McCarthy and all that kind of good stuff. So it's going to be a great game. So we had some comments in the poll in the Packers Fan Podcast Facebook group. First off, somebody on Twitter by the name of All Elite Cameron says, no matter how far we end up going, I just want to say now that I'm incredibly proud of this team. Hashtag Go Pack Go.
Hashtag Go Pack Go indeed. Dictus in the Netherlands in the Facebook group says, getting this far with this young team and so many key injuries is huge. With this season being all about seeing what we have in Jordan Love and secondly in the rest of the team, this feels like an awesome cherry on top. Jordan is the future and the building blocks are there. The areas of improvement are clear. Now, obviously, I want our Packers to win every game, so let's go beat Dallas in the playoffs again. But I honestly think this season is a major success no matter the outcome of next week. Super excited to see where this team is going to go in the next few days and even more in the upcoming years. Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go indeed. And I got to say, even though I said, getting to the playoffs is good enough for me, nothing would make me happier to see them go in and destroy McCarthy and knock them out of the playoffs and just, let the Cowboys do what they always do. But Janelle says, I am just happy they made the playoffs. This will be a great experience for all these young guys. I'm always going to go for my Packers to go all the way, but I'm seriously just so proud of them. Still not a fan of Barry, though. ...
There's that. Bill Gardner in the Facebook group says a Super Bowl would be amazing, of course, but the youngest recorded team to make the playoffs? That is an awesome feat in itself for a team that most people didn't expect to win 5 games. Sweeping the Bears another season is always a good time, too. I'm a bit worried that the defense might have saved Joe Barry's job, though, especially if they play well in Dallas.
Yeah, that's the weird thing we're at right now, because
yes.
I think even the diehard Packers fans really don't expect them to go all the way to the Super Bowl and win it. Like rose-colored glasses or whatever, I don't think anybody really expects it except for you, Wayne. So, but the fact that some people are almost cheering for Joe Barry's defense to do tremendously bad on this game just to kind of put the nail in his coffin, I don't like that. I want this team to go as far as possible because, dude, the Cinderella story, if Green Bay is somehow able to pull this off, could you imagine the Blu-ray 4K documentary that would come out about the Packers season? A quarterback that is the first time helming this offense, the super young team. Everybody counted him out. I can just see the slow motion with the voice, hearing the voiceovers in the background. I would pay so much money for that thing, dude. Sign me up, $50. I'm in. Oh. I will take that to every game and get it signed.
Me too. And in fact, I'm going to go one better. I'll spend the big bucks if it comes out on 8K. Boom.
Yeah. Our last comment on the poll comes from David Newman. He says, I'd be curious to hear why people think needing to win a playoff game or Super Bowl or bust. Green Bay defied odds with the youngest team in the NFL and first-year starting quarterback. They are the youngest team to ever make the playoffs, and Jordan Love is the first full-year starter in Green Bay history to make the playoffs. Win or lose in Dallas, have to be proud of this team. That is a fantastic point that nobody is talking about. Brett Favre did not make it to the playoffs his first season. Aaron Rodgers did not make it to the playoffs his first season. Jordan Love made the playoffs his first season as the full-time quarterback. I don't understand how anybody can say he's not the guy.
Oh, there can't be anybody at this point.
I mean, again, it's one season.
Right.
I'm not calling him a Hall of Fame quarterback. I'm not calling him the next Aaron Rodgers. I'm not calling him the next Brett Favre. I'm calling him the next Packers quarterback.
Ooh.
There's no other option at this point. And his demeanor is one of my favorite things. It's almost like, especially at the beginning of the season, you saw the concern those first couple of games because he had so much potential to live up to, right? But he just never really seemed to show it. He was calm, cool, collected, and that is one of my absolute favorite things about him. He doesn't show a lot of emotion. Don't get me wrong. Did I love it when Favre would march down the field with his helmet raised up in the air, scoring that touchdown to win the game, or Rodgers telling the Bears that he owns them? You know what I mean? I appreciate Love so much more because he celebrates with his team as like, way to go, guys. We did it. Now let's get back to work. That's what this Packers offense needs, and I don't think he's getting enough credit for that stuff.
Oh, and this just in. The Bears do still suck, and we do still own them.
Man, just one more win. Just one more. That'd be amazing. Moving on to some listener voicemail messages and emails. I'd like you guys to please sound off. Let your voice be heard on next week's Packers Fan Podcast by either recording your voice on your phone or computer and email the recording to feedback@PackersFanPodcast.com or by calling the PFP voicemail at +1 920 3-PACK-GO. The deadline this week is Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Please get those in as soon as you can if you would like your voice heard on the podcast. Our first one comes from Jay Walters. Take it away, Jay.
Woo! How about them Packers? Man, just got up the bar with the Southern California Packer-Backers in Anaheim watching that game. Man, that was fantastic. Taking it to the Bears is nothing sweeter than going into the playoffs beating them, I'll tell you. It's been a rough season, back and forth, up and down. But, man, everybody's healthy. Everybody's playing well. Even the defense is stepping up, man. Penalties were down. Tackling was up. Gotta love it, man. Going into Dallas. We win against Dallas, it'll be a great season no matter what happens after that. All right, man. This is Jay from Southern California. Peace out. Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go indeed. Jay, thank you so much for the call. Yeah, it's interesting that he says if we beat Dallas, he considers the season a huge success. Dude, I still consider it a huge success, even if they don't beat Dallas. I am so in love with this team right now. I'm elated to be a Packers fan. I wore my jersey proudly to school today. I did not even put on the Packer tie, man. It was supposed to be back to professional casual attire today, and I said, no, sir. I am wearing my Clark jersey. Because that's just what's going to happen, and nobody said nary a word to me about it. So tomorrow I'll go back to my shirt and tie. But yeah, Jay, thanks so much for the call. He said, we was talking about even the defense was stepping up. He said the penalties were down, the tackles were up. Not to mention, I mean, I know sacks are tackles, but the sacks were up. 5 sacks in a single game for a scrambling quarterback like Justin Fields is stellar.
Not just a scrambling quarterback, but remember, he said he was one of the top 3 scrambling quarterbacks all time.
All time?
Or something like that. It was some
Come
hyperbole,
on, man.
like until you beat the Packers some more. But
oh my goodness,
Jay, I'm so glad you were able to go to the Southern California Packer-Backers party. That must have been insane, and even more insane next week as well if you get back to their big event. Let's get back to the listener lines. We've got some initial reactions from somebody who was at Lambeau Field.
Hey, Wayne and Scott, it's Megan. I'm at Lambeau freezing my off. My fingers are completely frozen, but we're going to the playoffs, baby. Jordan Love, I love him. I just love him. You gotta love him. Dontavian Wicks, man, I'm so blessed to be able to be at this game. I need to rewatch it too because I have no idea what happened. But it's a great day. It's a great day to be a Packer fan. It always is. You both know green and gold, so we're dead and cold, baby. Let's freaking go. We're going to go to Dallas. We're going to walk all over Dak Prescott, Mike McCarthy, our old stomping grounds, and it's going to be amazing. So Love the podcast. Love all the people here. I tried to find Troy, but, it's kind of hard. So, green and gold, so we're all dead and cold, baby. Let's go. We're going to the freaking playoffs, baby. Let's go! Hi, Wayne and Scott. It's Megan. The day after the game. My voice is a little shot, but I hope that this message can be received in time. This is going to have a little bit more substance than just my other messages cheering. Not a whole lot, but a little bit. I just mostly want to give credit to our team and our coaches for continuing to persevere throughout the season. There were highs and lows throughout. October was a bad month, and they just powered through. They didn't give up. Jordan has he shines, and he's come so far, and it's a beautiful thing. It's so fun to watch him develop, and this is only his first year as a starter, so I am just happy for him and in awe that he just keeps on working and kind of silently proves everybody wrong, and he just seems like he has a really good head on his shoulders. He puts in the work, has great relationships with his teammates off the field, which I think helps them on the field too. I was listening to the radio, and there was a stat, something like every month this season, a different receiver has led in terms of yards, and I think that that's awesome. There's not just one guy. Granted, when it was Devontae, that was awesome. Jordy, awesome. But it's really cool that everybody's involved, and we have so much depth when guys go out. It's not like we don't have to hold our breath that we're screwed, because there are other guys that'll step up and perform well. And you look at Bo Melton, Wicks, Reed, obviously. I mean, everyone kind of thought going in that it'd be Dobbs and Watson, and they're great too. Watson, who I think it was Scott called him Mr. Glass or something. I laughed at that last week's podcast, but he's hurt a lot, obviously. And Dobbs, I don't know, he doesn't have as many scores. I think they throw to him a good amount on third down, and he comes in clutch in a lot of situations, but he's not the guy. I feel like there's no the guy. It's just a team, which is what it should be. It's a team sport, and everyone's kind of involved and just thrive. And it sure seems like there's something to be said for not being thrown right in your rookie year, and being able to sit and absorb and develop and learn from another great quarterback. So it's almost like this is his rookie season, but because it's his first season really starting. But you compare this season, even as it's progressed, I mean, he's been doing well throughout the season, but he's only been getting better and better. But compared to last year when he started in Kansas City, it's just totally night and day difference. And just lots of props to him. I hope he's proud of himself, and he's so level-headed, not too high, not too low, and he'll celebrate this, but then he'll go right back to work to be ready to attack Dallas. And however the season ends up ending, I sure hope this team is proud of themselves. That was the talk of the league, that they're so young and inexperienced, and that doesn't stop them, obviously. I think having the young energy is really, really good and helpful. And they sure proved a lot of people wrong. So super proud of the team. I know everyone still wants Joe Barry's head, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. And I'm also kind of interested to see what happens with our kicker. I know Matt likes it. I mean, he's all right, but I would hate to have a missed kick or something be what ends the season when we have these big games come. But it'll be interesting to see what changes are made in the off season, and whatever happens, green and gold till I'm dead and gold. It's been a beautiful year, and the best is yet to come. Let's go. Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go, Megan. Thank you so much for the initial raw reactions. You gotta love. I understand needing to now go home and watch the game to see how everything played out, because it's so different when you're at the game than actually just sitting at home watching it in the cozy confines of your home. And Megan, there's nothing wrong with just excitement-filled cheering voice messages. But we love all sorts of listener feedback. But I must say, the day after the game, that's when the effects of cheering on the Packers really show up in your voice, right, Scott?
Absolutely. Trust me. As a guy that is just getting over something, and I'm lucky my voice is working right now, and I wasn't at a game screaming my head off. I feel you.
And just like you mentioned earlier, Scott, Megan says Jordan Love is just quietly getting things done.
It's like she read my mind, man.
She did.
It totally was.
Or you read hers.
Maybe. Gotta love. That just rolls off the tongue so well. Are you familiar with a band by the name of The Darkness?
Oh, I love The Darkness.
I love The Darkness, and their big hit song is a song called I Believe in a Thing Called Love. And the chorus of that song goes, I believe in a thing called love. Just listen to the rhythm of my heart. There's a chance we can make it now. We'll be rocking till the sun goes down. I believe in a thing called love.
That's a beautiful thing. And if by some chance I come back and win the Wager of Fun, I'd like you to recreate that in the high falsetto.
Is that what it is? I'm going to be singing that this year.
I've got a long way to go to come back from behind. Good point, Megan, about how it seems like every month or so this season, a different Packers wide receiver seems to be the go-to guy because we have depth at wide receiver, and it's been a few years since we've been able to say that. Because every single draft, why didn't we draft 7 wide receivers? The Packers only have one guy, and he needs help. Jordan sitting behind Aaron Rodgers for 3 years really worked out, and lots of pride in this team for sure.
I think that's the coolest thing about the Packers fandom right now is that pride coming through. Because I was getting a little worried coming into the middle of the season. Like there was even a game where we were watching the game and the crowd just didn't seem into it. They just kind of felt like they had stuck a fork in them already. And I don't want our fans to become bandwagon fans. I know we've been, we've had the good graces of Hall of Fame quarterbacks for the past 3 decades. But some of us were fans, back before the Favre days. You know what I mean? So stick with this team, guys. Even in the when we're down in the dumps, I will love this team till the end of my days. And please, that is one thing that I've always loved about Packers is we bleed green and gold till dead and cold. We say it here every week, right? And that's what we got to do. Let's keep bleeding it.
And with a season like this, even with as many injuries as we've had, remember when David Bakhtiari went down? I can't believe.
Yeah.
And other offensive line injuries and wide receiver injuries, defensive injuries, and the young team aspect and Jordan Love's first year. If even 2 of those things can be out of the picture next season and upcoming seasons, sky's the limit, man.
Seriously.
Anything can happen. Let's see who else gave us a call at +1 9203 Pack Go.
Hey, Wayne and Scott, it's Jared in Colorado. So missed a good majority of the game because of a combination of just family stuff and then, having to tend to baby things. I know it's the second week in a row I've had to talk about my baby, but hey, I get to throw them into some green and gold merch, and it's pretty awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and brag about that. But regardless, I don't have too much to say because I only caught the last 10 minutes of the game, 10 minutes of game time, that is. And what can I say, man? Tuned in. They were up 17-9. I think it was the final score. But yeah, I was a little bit nervous because, a little bit closer than I would have thought. But at the same time, division rivals and all that, divisional games tend to be a lot closer than you would expect, even for teams that are powerhouses, just because, you play them twice a year, all that stuff. But hey, what a game. It was really awesome just to see that last little bit. And I'm really it was great to see Musgrave back on the field, seeing him back and healthy. Dude, again, Aaron Jones, can't talk enough about him, just seeing him healthy. I mean, talk about, guys the team getting healthy and, playing the best football of the season at just the right time. Dude, that's what you want to see. You want to see a team that that's getting hot at the right time. And I love it. I love everything about this team. At this point, I mean, I think the stat they said at the end of the game was the Packers are the youngest team to ever make the playoffs, which is freaking phenomenal. So yeah, I mean, at this point, like, I think what I love about the season is, I went into the season with middling to low expectations, and they've blown every one of those expectations out of the water and then some. So it's just like a really fun season to watch, kind of low stress, and everything at this point is just kind of cherry on top. So, let's go, man. Green and gold till dead and cold. We're in the playoffs. I don't know who we're playing. I feel like I saw something on social media about us playing the Cowboys. You have to fact check that one on me because I haven't really done that myself. But either way, that would be pretty fitting. Although I'm not going to lie, Packers going to the playoffs and having to play a Mike McCarthy led team. But like I said, everything at this point is cherry. Great experience for the guys, regardless of how it comes out. But that being said, yeah, let's take this to the house. Let's have this Green Bay team who everyone ruled out, and I'll say, myself included, ruled out that, kind of the first, like the third point of the season. Freaking take it home, guys. Anything can happen. So, great and cold down, dead and cold. Let's bring the Lombardi home. Let's see what happens, guys. All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Hey, Jared, thank you so much for the call, dude. Any chance to talk about your new baby, right? I gotta love that. And, get that kid some green and gold merch, man. Just saying. We might be able to help you out with that, right, Wayne? Just saying.
There is Packers Fan Podcast green and gold merch as well. There's a wide variety.
Absolutely.
And with such a diverse team, you can't go wrong with a love jersey and other things that babies might need. Just so good.
And we got we got the Chicago Bears wipes, for those messy. Anyway, he mentioned that he thought that the score was closer than we would have thought. I think the score was about as close as I expected, but I expected it to be a much more high-scoring game. I was surprised that it was that low, and I think our community agrees with me when I was doing the differentials. Like, everybody had in the 20s and 30s for teams. So, yeah, and he makes a good point. Peaking at the right time. Playoff time is definitely the right time to be peaking and playing the best games. Wasn't Love's rating like 128 something or something? This is just insane. With the fumble, he still had 128. It was a great game.
So good indeed. Every expectation has been exceeded. And with that, some more excitement. Here we go.
Go, 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 Pack, playoff bound, go. Bring on those Cowboys. Oh my God, I can't wait for next Sunday afternoon. Oh, I've been waiting for this. I've been wanting this. Some of y'all don't know, but I am not a fan of Mike McCarthy as a coach, as a person, great human being, did a lot for the community in Green Bay, him and his wife and his family. But I am ready to just, I'm so stoked for this game. I want the Packers to beat the absolute brakes off those Cowboys. I don't think it's going to happen, but how amazing would that be to see? This game that we just watched on Sunday afternoon, what didn't it have other than good special teams play? But Aaron Jones, for the third consecutive game, went for over 100 yards. In the last 3 games, 20-plus carries, 21 for 127, 20 for 120, 22 for 111. And that's not including catching the ball. Yesterday, he had 27 touches for 141 stinking yards. And I wish he could have played the whole season, but it's almost like a blessing in disguise, because with not playing all those games, his body was able to heal, and he didn't take the brunt of all those hard hits that all the players go through every week in and week out. Because he only played, I think, 6 or 7 games this season. So now his legs are kind of fresh, and we've kind of seen that manifest itself in the last 3 games. Overall, that was just a really good complete game. 2 for 4 in the red zone. You got the Anders Carlson miss, and then I think I can't remember what the other failure was, but I think that might have been when at the end of the half when Musgraves didn't go out of bounds and do all the stuff that he should have done. Only 1 for 5 for penalties. I'm not sure if this is indicative of going forward and getting ready for playoff football when you tend to see less penalties, or maybe a reaction to the downgrade of the Brad Allen squad in holding referees accountable, which they should have been doing this for years, because, I mean, we're all human. We all make mistakes, but some of the stuff that we've been seeing the last 2 years has been absolutely just off the charts deplorable. Jordan Love, holy cow, 84% passing completion percentage. Even with the drop touchdown to, I think it was Melton, and the other, there was another pass to Dobbs that was kind of, it was kind of questionable whether or not he caught it or not. You know, I'm not going to, split hairs with that, but Love threw to 7 different wide receivers. He's just like, he's in his zone, and the team is getting hot at the right time. The defense, 5 sacks. That's a rarity in this league. The only thing I got to say right now, I just hope we beat Mike McCarthy. I hate him as a coach. I feel that he absolutely just squandered the best years of Aaron Rodgers and those other great wide receivers, the Jennings, the Jordy Nelsons, all those guys. I think he just totally screwed the pooch on that one, because he was so conservative in his play calling. Like, it was just so frustrating to watch. Anyways, we got, like we already know, Dallas is coming up. We're going down into their house, and I don't think this team can be any more prepared. They are living on cloud 9, but I hope that they realize that they got a job to do, and that they keep their focus centered on their what each individual player has to do in order for the team to succeed. And I think they can do it. I hope LaFleur has his guys dialed in. It doesn't really matter. I mean, obviously I want to go all the way to the end and win the Super Bowl, but we're already in a win-win situation. Nobody here, I mean, we wanted the playoffs, but I don't think we really expected it. At the beginning of the season, I called for a 9-7 season, with a wild card berth, which I was wrong because my math was off. I should have said 9-8. And that's how it panned out. And I can't wait to watch this game on Sunday afternoon. It's waiting all day for Sunday afternoon. I just can't wait. So sorry for the long voicemail, but I also have to congratulate the Green Bay Zackers winning the Packers Fan Podcast Fantasy Football League for this year, finishing out at an astounding 15-3, scoring over 2,000 points, 2,137. Followed up closely by one of our very own, Scott Clark. Talk like a fan at 13-5 with 2,278 points. Musgrave Digger at number 3. The Executioner at number 4. Dylan him softly at 10-8. Packer Backer 68, 10-8. Number 33, Best Friend 8-10. Josh's Quality Team at 8-10. Pack them up and send them home. Brett Connor 8-10. The 4-time Wager of Fun champion Wayne Henderson at 6-12. Last year's champion, holy cow, what a strange turn of events. 13 Lizards, Troy Heinrichs at 4-14 with 1,784 points. And bringing up the rear, the Anaheim Browns at 4-14 with 1,747 points. Thank you for participating in the PFP Fantasy Football League. I look forward to next year. And next year, I think yours truly is going to be the one to take it home. Go, 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 go. Go, Pack, go!
Go Pack Go, indeed. Dan Dyler, a.k.a. Pack Sparrow. Now, next year, I think I finally got this fantasy football thing sorted out, so be on the lookout. I don't know what happened this year. There were so many times where I had so many points. What happened?
And I just got to say, I took second place, but I did have the most points in the league. I know that's not how this league works. It's record first, but I did have quite a good margin of points on that league. I was pretty proud though. I placed second in that one and third in my other two, so I had a pretty decent season. Can't complain too much, but this is the one that matters.
Nicely done. Nicely done. Congratulations, Green Bay Zackers. Astonishing is what Dan called it. I love that word. Plus, it's a lot of syllables, so it's a win-win. Dan, bring on those Cowboys. Can't wait for Sunday afternoon. Personally, Scott and Dan, I think we got the best playoff time slot, in addition to not being on Peacock or whatever. It's not a middle of the night kickoff for Dictus and Brett and Colum and friends. It might go late into the night, but I think it's the best time all around for everybody to watch the game. And we'll be previewing that in just a little bit. Aaron Jones, he really has come back totally healthy. Every time he gets tackled, I get nervous, though. I'm like, don't hurt him. Yeah. Don't hurt him. We need him. And what do you think about the fact that Dan wonders if missing those games earlier in the season might actually be a blessing for us in the playoffs for Aaron Jones?
It sure didn't feel like it at the time, man.
No.
Well, thanks for taking care of the league too, man. That was a lot of fun. I'm in too many leagues. I always tell myself every year I'm just going to do one, and then I wind up in 3. So,
well, you've mentioned in years past that your brother is really on a bunch of teams.
No, it is my father-in-law, and this year he actually was on none. He actually had 32 fantasy teams, not this season, but either the season before. And you should see his spreadsheets, man. That dude loves his data. He did 32 teams. He actually named each one, after the 32 teams in the NFL. So he had a Packers and he had a Bears and he had a Lions and a Vikings and then he just managed each one separately. That's just what he did.
He even had a team that he called the Niners?
Yeah.
I couldn't
on purpose.
No. Okay. I would tank that team. Anyway, back to the listener line at +1 920 3-Pack, go!
Wayne Scott, Art from Texas. Man, we are in the playoffs. We are in the playoffs. Can you believe that? I can't believe it. I mean, I can believe it, but I can't at the same time. I mean, this is a team that we expected to have from the beginning of the season, but of course, me, to include myself, I should have been more patient. I know I wasn't a firm believer in Jordan Love. I just wanted the best for our Packers, and I guess I can say I got spoiled all these years with Favre and Aaron Rodgers. I should have been more patient. I believe in Jordan Love. I think we have a bright future with all these young players. Man, I'm excited. It was supposed to be pretty much a rebuilding year, and for us to go to the playoffs, it's already the season's already a success. Whether we win or lose in the playoffs, it's already been a success. Of course, we want them to, we want to win, but wow, everything Jordan Love has done, and that's because that's without Bakhtiari, without Watson, a little bit of inconsistency in the defense, but I'm just so glad that we're at this point, and hopefully they can go farther into the postseason. You never know. The game needs to be played. We've always done well against the Cowboys. I should know that because I'm here in Texas and I'm surrounded by Cowboys fans. It's always good to be a Packers fan, especially when they play the Cowboys. But this is always a big game for me, of course. Hopefully we can come out on top again. But man, awesome! It's great. It's great to be in the postseason, and hopefully AJ Dillon can come back a little healthier. I know he's got a broken thumb, so it's tough to get. You can't really rush it to heal up, but hopefully he can contribute a lot. I know Aaron Jones loves to play at Texas Stadium because it's Texas, and he's always had big games against the Cowboys. So we never know. You never know. I probably will end up making it to the game. So I'm very excited about it. So, Wayne Scott, thank you for the podcast as always. And green and gold till I'm dead and cold. Go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go indeed. Art, thank you so much for the call, dude. I know. I think we all are saying that we can't believe we're in the playoffs. Just can't believe it. It's awesome. I love that he's being humble and saying that he should have been more patient. I think a lot of us were getting nervous, man. I don't fault anybody for it, but thanks for sticking with the team, man. I am so sick of defending this team. I feel like so many even Packers fans are guilting me for having high hopes, and I don't get it. I understand, being overly optimistic. I'm not saying we're going to go all the way, but why not hope for the best? Anything can happen. This is a sport. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. Let's do it, man. Let's go all the way.
All we have to do is win the next 4 games, and we're raising the Lombardi Trophy.
Well, I mean, look at it this way, man. I think I said 12 wins this season.
Yeah,
Is that what
I think so?
And yours was probably 14 or something like that. But we've got 9, so really we only need 3 more wins to for my prediction to come true.
I just remember you were shocked and stunned. I did not predict us to go undefeated.
I do remember that as well. Yeah.
Art, such a great phone call, and yes, AJ Dillon. I mean, it's great to have Aaron Jones totally healthy, but man, I miss seeing AJ Dillon just out there bruising people up. So I do hope he comes back super healthy. And you being in Texas, and you might actually make it to the game. How epic would that be? Because I can't imagine living my life surrounded by Cowboys fans, but going to the game, and if we can pull out a victory, and make sure you wear green if you do go. Wear your green and gold, because I guess the Cowboys are calling for a whiteout and asking everybody to wear white. So we need a lot of green to show up and just spoil that mess.
Absolutely. Do not wear your away jerseys.
No, good point. Good point.
No away jerseys, please. I know they're an away game. Do not contribute to that whiteout. Please do not do that.
So I have a feeling with them calling for a whiteout for the fans, that means the Cowboys are going to wear mostly white uniforms, because a lot of times the Cowboys like wearing their dark blues for home games, but maybe that was in the past.
Yeah.
We'll have to hope for the best. We also got an email. Hey, Wayne and Scott, this is Caleb, Kathy, and Roy Fisher from Green Bay, Wisconsin. What a crazy game against the Bears. So happy to be in the playoffs. So many great plays, especially with Wicks's touchdown, and seeing Bo Melton with some great moves there as well. Can't wait to see what happens in the next couple of days from now. Hopefully we can get some more key players back. No matter what happens, we can all say, go Pack, go. The Bears still suck, and bleed green and gold till dead and cold. Thank you very much, CCR. Always got to throw in one last dig at the Bears, because we're not going to be seeing them for a while. Wah, wah.
Yeah. As always, guys, your calls, emails, comments, and support are the highlight to the Packers Fan Podcast. Thank you for all of your feedback, not just this episode, but all season long. Remember to please be a part of the Packers Fan Podcast Facebook community and be part of the conversations at packerscommunity.com. Check all the action out and join it, especially for our live game chat thread for next Sunday's wild card playoff game. It's going to be a good one.
Indeed it is. So let's talk a bit about it. Your 7th seeded Green Bay Packers going on the road to face the number 2 seed Dallas Cowboys Sunday, January 14th at 3:30 p.m. Central Time on Fox. Playoffs, baby.
And thank goodness it's Fox.
Yes, and not Peacock.
Yeah, I mean, I was watching it, I think it was CBS here for me, and I just like Fox's format so much better. I would be really curious to hear what people think about that. I would much rather watch games on Fox.
I agree 100%. If Tony Romo was on Fox, it'd be golden. But Tony Romo's the one thing that makes the CBS presentation better.
There's people that disagree with you.
There's always somebody disagreeing with me. That's okay. Would you believe that the Green Bay Packers lead the series all time, 21 wins to 17 losses?
I would believe that for sure.
And the funny thing is, out of the last 10 times we've played each other, going back to 2009, the Cowboys have only beaten us once out of those 10 times, and that was way back at 2016. And it was at Lambeau Field, which is very odd. But this game's in Dallas, where we have won the last 4 in a row, and that rhymes with Go Pack Go. So good, so good. What's the over-under on how many times the announcers are going to mention that Coach McCarthy used to coach the Green Bay Packers? I'm going to go with 5 mentions from kickoff through the end of the game. How about you?
Boy, the over-under, I'll say the under, because I think they're going to bring up the Ice Bowl more times than they will about McCarthy. Sadly, this one's not going to be at Lambeau. It's going to be in a temperature-controlled stadium instead of the frozen tundra. But I guess they'll just have to make do. They'll have to figure it out. But yeah, I think the Ice Bowl will get mentioned more.
Well, I'm going to mention it right now because the Ice Bowl, it's probably the most memorable game between these two teams. But even so, my favorite memory is the he went to Jared game. After Dallas tied up that game with 35 seconds to go, thinking that they were playing for overtime, Aaron Rodgers took that 35 seconds and used it to crush the Cowboys' dream season with a beautiful comeback drive, which included the 36-yard toe-tapping sideline catch to Jared Cook, and moments later, Mason Crosby kicked the game-winning field goal. Can I get another Go Pack Go?
Go Pack Go, indeed. That was, the memes for that one. That was like right when memes were starting to take off, and that was a quality meme. And I'm sure that that jeweler was really happy for the extra plugs there. So,
well, Sunday's weather at Dallas, like you said, it should be whatever the crew in charge of the indoor thermostat makes it. I assume it's going to be around 75, 76 degrees Fahrenheit. So another game with no weather, but there could be weather after we win this one.
There you go. Well, you're ready for some keys to a Packers victory over the Cowboys, Wayne?
I sure am, especially since it's playoff keys to victory.
Absolutely. Strategy number 1, it's going to be more psychological with this one. Rely on the history. The Cowboys are heavily favored in this matchup for good reason, but their track record against this team is not very solid. They've won, or the Packers' track record is good. They've won 9 of the past 10 matchups, which is pretty impressive, as Wayne mentioned earlier. Plus, the Cowboys, I don't know if you guys know this, the Cowboys have a reputation in the playoffs that isn't a very good one. So with that said, they're going to be just as hungry for this win, especially considering they're on a 16-game winning streak at home. It's time to turn those tables around to do what the Packers have done to this second half of the season. Surprise everyone. So it's time for that. Strategy number 2, man-to-man coverage. I'm just as tired of talking about Joe Barry as all of you probably are hearing about it. But it goes without saying. If I've learned anything from listening to David Newman, it's that the defense needs to shy away from the soft zone coverage, especially in series where the offense has a long way to go. Man coverage needs to be the new standard, especially against Dak Prescott, who is the only quarterback in the league with more TD passes than Jordan Love. This attack game will be mostly through the air, so that secondary coverage that we've grown to love this season needs to stick to their men. And strategy number 3, pressure without blitzing. Getting pressure on Dak is going to be key, but leaving his core receivers more open is going to be a massive mistake. Prescott doesn't utilize his legs quite as much as like a Justin Fields, although, again, I don't think Justin Fields is a top 3 quarterback, but he's a much more dangerous passer, in my opinion, especially with the likes of CeeDee Lamb. Holy cow, that guy has been lighting it up. I have him on my fantasy team, and he got me like 40-plus points last week. That dude is a beast. We cannot let that happen. If the Packers can attack as well as they did against Chicago with maybe 5 sacks, they could very well contain him. Just don't focus on the blitz. And there you have it.
Excellent. Is it Sunday afternoon yet? I want to see these things take place on the field.
I'm with you, man. I am with you.
Good
all right.
work, as always, Scott. We really appreciate it. And I guess it all comes down to the keys to victory and what kind of sleep number Dak Prescott has the night before the game. Can we sabotage his mattress?
There you go. All right. This is not the last time we're going to be doing our 2023 season wager of fun because we are going to extend it into the playoffs.
And Super Bowl.
Keeping Wayne's and Super Bowl. Keeping Wayne's hopes alive. Our predictions last week, I predicted that the Packers would win 27-24. Wayne predicted 30-20. Both of us overshot it by quite a bit. Would you believe our differentials, man, were 1 point apart?
Wow.
With a final score of 17-9, I had a differential of 25, and you, sir, had a differential of 24. So this week goes to you, sir. Congratulations.
Not dead yet.
Man, doesn't get any closer than that. And the PFP listener section for yesterday's game, as of today, the winner this week goes to Travis Baker, who I believe is the first time he's hit the board.
I believe so.
So he
Congrats.
now has a two-way tie with Brett Connor and Travis Baker. We've also got a two-way tie for second place. Dan Dyler and Jay Walters each have 3 wins. And David Newman is still holding that lone first-place spot with 5 wins. So congratulations. And Wayne, you did catch one up on me, so you've tightened the gap. I still have 7 wins this week. You have 5 wins. So anything could happen. And I'm going to call an audible here, man. I have hyped myself up so much this game.
Just during the time we've been talking about it?
Yes. I actually put my prediction on here right before we started recording, and I originally predicted the Cowboys to win the game.
Ooh.
I'm going to change that, and I'm going to say that Green Bay is going to win the game 33-30.
Nice.
I am swinging for the fences. I'm going to say it right now. Green Bay is going to win this game, and they're going to go all the way to the Super Bowl. I'm calling it right now. Yes.
Whoa.
I am pulling a Wayne. The Packers are going to the Super Bowl. I just think, the story is too good. I think it's going to happen. So, yes, I don't care. You guys can knock me all you want. You can make fun of me and say, "Oh, they're not gonna make it." It's happening, guys. I called it. Said it right here. It's happening. Go ahead, record my voice and play it back for me if you want to. But I'm calling it.
Oh, I will play it back because this is amazing. What a drastic, dramatic turn of events, ladies and gentlemen. That was Scott Clark.
I don't think I've ever done that on this show. I don't think I've actually talked myself out of it ever in the 4 years I've been doing this show with you,
and not in that fashion.
Yeah, I'm so pumped. I am so pumped for this game. I can't wait for Sunday.
Do I get to put in my score?
No, dude. No, you just the Packers are going to win. That's all that matters.
That's true. That's true.
So I got ahead of myself, dude. What's your prediction?
We're going to win another heart attack game, even more heart attack than you think it's going to be, 28-27.
All right, I'm hoping for a high scoring game, man. I'm gonna need it, man. That's a 63-point game.
Wow.
And everybody right now listening is calling me crazy for more than one reason, and I don't care, man. I don't care. The Packers are gonna win.
Love it.
This is happening. All right, now let's go to the listeners. First off, Garrett Stritzel predicts a Packers win, 28-24. Brett Connor says Green Bay 17, Dallas 24. Great that we made the playoffs, but I think this is where it ends. David Newman, I did not copy his score this week. He says Dallas 31, Green Bay 24. Gary Arndt says the Packers have a secret weapon, Mike McCarthy. Green Bay 33, Dallas 28. Boy, he's up there he's right up by my prediction as well. And David Hawkins, Green Bay 27, Dallas 21. So only 2 people picked to lose so far, but there's still time, guys. Get your picks in before the game if you'd like to be part of the Wager O Fun.
Oh, yeah. Emphasis on the fun. Some other happenings in the NFL that caught our eyes this week. For me, a couple of things. Although many of the top teams lost this weekend because we knew they'd rest their starters, I have to ask, what in the hell happened to the Philadelphia Eagles? I don't know. After being the top NFC team almost all season, about 6 or 7 weeks ago, the wheels just flew off. They've only won 1 game since then.
Yeah, I was pretty confident early in the season they were going to take the number 1 seed.
Yes, everybody was. And now they're in the playoffs, but you talk about limping into the playoffs. I hope we get to play them.
Yeah. And speaking of resting your players, you know who did not rest their players was the Lions.
Apparently.
They had some pretty significant injuries. I don't know if you saw that game, but holy cow, they did not need to do that.
No, Laporta, who knows how bad his injury is.
Yeah, I know he's a rookie, but I still think he's a star player on that squad.
Yeah.
He's been a go-to guy, and he's had a fantastic rookie season, which is unheard of for tight ends. So and that wasn't the only one. There was like 2 other injuries. It might not have been as serious. We don't really know the severity of all of them at this point, but I thought that was a really questionable call to be playing those starters that late in the season. But hey, it is what it is.
Last week we talked about how aggressive they are, going for it on 4th down, fake punts and 2-point conversions. They're so aggressive that they could have hurt themselves.
Yep.
And how about all that off-season chatter we were hearing from Bears and Vikings fans? It's suddenly, abruptly, gone very quiet.
Yeah, because we didn't even talk about this. Did you expect the Vikings to get knocked out?
Yes.
I didn't. I like all season we're like the Vikings are gonna be going, man. They're gonna get that wild card for sure. And here we are, 3-game winning, 3-game. Made me so happy. All right. I want to talk to you guys very quickly about my other podcast I talk about every week, but The Gaming Outsider. If you love video games, please check out this show. We have a new episode every week, and this past week, we recorded my favorite episode of the year, which is our 2023 Game of the Year episode where we recap everything that we played from the past year, and we whittled down a little through discussion and some number crunching and data and all this kind of stuff of what our top favorite game is of the year. As tradition, we bring back Grant Henry, who is the composer of all of our podcast bumpers, all the music you hear on our podcast. He comes back to moderate the whole thing for us. As usual, it was an absolute blast, albeit a lengthy episode when we talked for over 3 hours straight. It's such a fun episode. I hope you check it out. You can hear that show at the same place you listen to this one, and you can also find our website at thegamingoutsider.com.
Did you say thegamingoutsider.com?
I did. Some say thegamingoutsider.com, but I say thegamingoutsider.com.
Well put. I'm going to have to check that out because I can't imagine how the need for a moderator is.
Well, we have, because what we do is we do our ranking weird. What we do is we each of the hosts send our top 10 lists of the year to him privately, like through email, and then he does some number crunching. So where, because he's the only one that is impartial, right? He's not actually voting. So he takes it. So like your number one pick, your number one favorite game of the year gets 10 points. Your number 2 gets 9. Your number 3 gets 8, and so on. And then he has all these data results and shows like which one's ranked not. So it's not just one person's list; it's everybody's list all together, and we see what ranks up, and then we discuss which one is like the overall Gaming Outsider game of the year. So it's kind of a fun little game, and he always has like really fun data stuff that he does to see like where it ranked, what the biggest gap between first and second place was over the past years, and it's just a lot of fun.
Excellent. Looking forward to that one. For myself, until the Packers win the Super Bowl or whatever happens this season, after that, I won't have another podcast going, but I'm looking at a couple of different options, maybe in the late spring, early summer. We'll post about that in the Facebook community group when it does come to pass, if I do decide to do something new and exciting in the podcasting realm. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. Thank you so very much for giving back to your Packers Fan Podcast all season long, whether it was through Patreon, purchasing things with our Fanatics affiliate link, sharing the podcast on social media, and of course, most of all, by listening and joining in. We really appreciate it. If you'd like to check out the ways to support the PFP, they're all at PackersFanPodcast.com/giveback. So thank you, and go Pack Go, Mr. Jay Walters, not only for your voicemail, but for supporting the AR12 level on the show, and J Love 10, otherwise known as Jordan Love, He has inspired Dan Dyler to support the show at his level. Go Pack Go, and thank you so much, Dan.
And how about our Brett Favre level patrons sending thank yous and Go Pack goes to Miguel Ramirez from the Opposites Attract podcast, Colin Nolan from Ireland, Megan and Scott Boers. And of course, Go Pack goes and thank yous going out to these Curly Lambeau level supporters, Brett Connor, Joe Christensen, Hank Davis from the TPE network of podcasts. Please check out all the details at PackersFanPodcast.com/give back. We are the unofficial Packers Fan Podcast, not affiliated with the NFL or the Green Bay Packers, but do us a favor. Please tell your friends about the PFP. We would really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and go Pack Go.
Even if they're Cowboys fans, because they might find some fun stuff to hear on this particular episode. Follow us on X, Twitter, at Packers Fan Pod. Follow Scott at GoCastScott. Follow the Gaming Outsider at The GoCast, or follow me at Wayne Henderson. To close us out, it's PFP community members Megan, Dan Dyler, and Joe Christensen with their Go Pack Go outro to send the Packers into Dallas in fine style.
Go Pack Go!